Welcome to the Go Around Buzz podcast with Chris, Damon, and Sal. Live and direct from Westminster, California. Now, as we all know, the Rams lost 31-10 against the Buffalo Bills this past Thursday. And was it the result we wanted? But that's just game one of a long 17-game schedule. You guys got to remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. They never crowned the Super Bowl champion after one game. I know how many people out there think that's what happens. You guys want to give Buffalo the Super Bowl? You want to crown them? Did they have a parade yet? I don't think so. It's week one, people. With that being said, Sal, what do you think of the pregame festivities? First of all, what do you think of the tailgate leading up to all that stuff going on? What do you think of it?
I mean, it was amazing. I know that the Bills Mafia, I know that they run deep, and it was amazing. There's certain fan bases in the NFL that you respect, and Buffalo's always had a really good fan base. So they definitely lived up to the hype and friendly people. It was nice that they were there to support the Bills, but they're friendly fans, so it was nice. You can't really be mad at a fan base that comes in and they're respectful. They just love their team, which we love the Rams also, so I understand that. And then, I mean, the excitement, everything lived up. The hype, everything was great. Food was great. Music was good. Everyone had a good time. So it was nice, walking into the stadium, and then it changed.
Okay, before it changed, you know what I didn't see at all? No
that?
Buffalo Bills throwing each other on tables, breaking any tables at each other. Now that, we'll talk about that after, but I didn't see no pregame throwing tables, jumping off like WrestleMania.
Which was good.
I didn't see that during the no tailgates. I didn't see nobody jumping off tables or breaking tables. But they're definitely in full effect, coming out, supporting their team, coming down on Thursday. Now, you brought up the game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of how the Rams came out in the first? Talk about what you think. Start of the game, first half.
Well, I knew that. I thought the Rams would show up, and I thought the Bills brought the energy. The Rams just didn't match them. And sometimes you have games like that. I mean, you can look at the stats and point fingers and stuff, but to me, usually when you have a big banner night, everybody's excited, and so it just looked like the Rams just were flat. But I never like to discredit the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are a great team, and they showed it. But I still think it's still going to end up at the end of the season, Rams and Bills.
I think from what I saw, Buffalo came out with something to prove. They're like, this is our Super Bowl. We're playing the Super Bowl champions. Our fans are here. Let's win this. And it's like they came out but they came out and the game was still tied at half because the first half, Buffalo, there's turnovers. Buffalo created, how many turnovers they had? 4 or 5 total. Yeah. Rams had turnovers left and right. Mm-hmm. I'm like, think about it. We're going to halftime and the game is 10-10. You would think the way the game was going on, Buffalo should have been up like 21-0 because they didn't punt one time during the first half. Or the second half. They didn't punt one time. Josh Allen's throwing it like he was like playing a video game, man.
Yeah, those are all good points.
Yes, and then it's like 10-10 going into halftime. I'm like, okay, the Rams got this. But I noticed their running game again. Like before the last episode, we said you thought Cam Akers was going to get 1,000 yards.
I still think he is.
Don't get me wrong, it's game one. But the last time we saw the Rams, the last 2 games, Thursday night, running game, none. Super Bowl, running game, none. Mm-hmm. So now, that's what I'm saying, Darrell Henderson, he's like hungry. He's going to make his mark for some way, somehow, because that first half ended in 10-10 time. I'm like, okay, cool. The Rams came out a little lethargic, okay. Yeah. From what I see. Maybe some people have other opinions about that, but just the flow, I'm just like, something's up. Something's not feeling right to me. It's like, I know, come on, you watch a lot of football. Yeah. We know our football, right? It's like, something's not sitting right with me. Like, nobody's throwing downfield. Allen Robinson, where's he at? I'm like, wait a minute. First half, he's not around. He's not making no play. I don't see anything. Now, first half ended 10-10. The dreaded second half. What'd you see?
Second half, I mean, going into halftime, scored 10-10. The Rams received the ball in the third quarter. So I thought, we'll wake up and it just didn't happen. But, it all starts at the offensive line. And, you have you're replacing 2 guys on the offensive line. And the Rams, it takes time to develop that cohesiveness along the offensive line. And I think also the fact that the Rams don't play their starters in preseason. Sometimes, as you watch the first week in the NFL, a lot of teams kind of look sluggish. Their offense, they didn't look crisp or anything, and I think that's all because they don't really play their starters.
Now,
Buffalo wanted that game. I mean, there was more pressure on Buffalo
that's
than
what I'm
for the
saying,
Rams.
because people are already like, Buffalo's going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on, man. You still got to play 17 games. One game doesn't make a season, in my opinion, at all. If the Rams had won 50-0, I still would have been like, it's only one game, you know?
Yeah. I think, to me, the most disappointing thing was, again, that Stafford had to use a silent count at home. That's the only thing that bothers me. I know that teams have a lot of fan base, big fan bases and stuff, but that's kind of frustrating at home to have to use that. But I still
Now we know how the Chargers feels. Now we know how the Chargers feel every home game.
every week.
Every week they're home game. We know how the Chargers
and that
feel.
was at a soccer stadium. Yeah, but the Rams will bounce back, and Cam Akers is still Cam Akers. I think that against the Falcons, he'll get a lot of carries, and he'll get back on track.
Now, seeing after game one, do you have any concerns about the Rams going throughout the season after game one? Do you have any concerns?
No,
What's your concern?
When I was watching it, just the offensive line, but that takes time to get it together. But the Rams will get it together. I mean, Coach McVay's been down that road, and the players trust him, and the players. The main thing is just not, it's one game, and that was the most impressive thing for me last year for the Rams is when they went to that. They had that 3-game losing streak. They didn't change anything. They kept doing what they continue to do all season long. So, I think the Rams are going to do the same thing. There's no panic in the Rams.
What surprised me versus the Buffalo Bills, the Rams didn't throw deep to me one time. Because remember last year, this day last year, the Rams played the Chicago Bears in the opener.
Yeah.
You saw first play, Van Jefferson, Deshaun Jackson, I think, caught a deep ball.
Yeah, he did.
Stafford didn't throw it deep at all. What's really going on with that? Was it the Buffalo's defense coverage, or what's it something else we're not talking about?
Well, I think a lot of people want to say that they still refer back to Matthew Stafford's elbow, but Josh Allen didn't throw deep either.
Wait a minute. Yeah, he did.
Well, I mean,
Second, Stephon Diggs.
Right, but I mean, he kind of stepped up and just launched it when he saw he was wide open.
I was waiting for that to happen. I said, second half, he's going to throw deep because he has a cannon. You got to unleash the cannon. He was waiting.
But he was
he was a running back too much for me.
Everything he was doing was working.
Yeah, because they didn't punt one time, first half or second half.
They came to play. The Rams definitely didn't match that intensity, but I mean, we've seen this, like against the Titans where, it's just the hype of the game, and then it just doesn't translate onto the field. Yeah.
Now, so you said the concerns offensive line. That's your main concern.
Well, I don't have any concerns, but if I did, I just think the offensive line has to come together.
Yeah, I think that and running back is something. I don't know what it is. I don't see like explosive. I don't see screen. I don't see running back screens. I don't see like dids on the dazzle. I just see Cam Akers, or where's he at? Like, did something happen we don't know about? I mean, they're showing reviews of a block he didn't make, but there's something we don't know about because I was like, I have more yards than him, it seemed like. And I was in the stands. I was like, where's Cam Akers? Okay, they're Darrell Henderson. But I think the Rams have a two-back set. They can do so much with Lightning and Thunder. You know what I'm saying? Between Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson, they just don't,
But I still think the Rams, when the Rams brought Jay Gruden in, they brought him in for a reason. And I think that, there'll be some adjustments as the season plays on.
And also,
but you got to definitely be a lot more creative. And, if you go into the season and you have both backs are battling soft tissue injuries, come on now. And then the rookie, Williams, he's banged up too, right? So it's hard. When Sony Michel was released by the Dolphins, I thought the Rams would take a look at him. But he ended up signing with the Chargers, like a day after. So, but, you got to trust in these guys and let them do their thing. I'm sure by the 5 games down the road we won't be talking about Rams.
And also what nobody's talking about is we have a new offensive coordinator because our criminal is with the Vikings now. So we have Liam something from Kentucky.
Liam Cohen,
he still has to get adjusted to that, or Sean McVay, whoever's doing that, I don't know. Is it Sean McVay? Is it Cohen? So we have to figure out the logistics of the offense and all that stuff. So,
but the good thing is, if anything, McVay could, he calls a lot of the plays, so we're in good shape there. I just think that, definitely the Rams have to get Allen Robinson more involved, and the Rams even, mentioned that. And then also the running game. It gives you attitude when you run the football, and that's one thing the Rams didn't establish against Buffalo. So, you can't keep. I love Cooper Kupp, but, you got to spread the ball around.
Yeah,
the Rams have so many.
And also when you run the ball, it takes time off the clock.
Yeah.
You get a good running game, feed the beast. 10, 15, boom, 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 boom. Time off the clock, time off the clock, time off the clock. And then the defense steps up for the run. Deep pass to Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Ben Skronet, you know.
But the Rams talked about, like, in the offseason, they really wanted to run the ball. Running the ball was a priority for them. So, I mean, you go up against Buffalo. It doesn't even matter who your opponent is. If you only have 52 yards rushing in a game and you give up 7 sacks, I mean, you're not going to win a whole lot of games, you know, with that combination. You got to eliminate the mistakes, but everything's based on execution, and the Rams will get that right.
My next question is this. What did you think about the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl parade?
I thought it was kind of cute, you know.
How many people were there? I mean, did you see the ring?
I was laughing, yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Well, I mean, a lot of the fans were. That's what I said, but that's where as we were walking out of the stadium, a lot of fans were, you know, like trying to get in people's faces and talking about how, you know, they're going to the Super Bowl. And to me, I just laughed. I've seen that before. I've seen it from the Cardinals fans. I've seen it from the Niner fans. I just smile because I already know what the Rams are about. And I think everything they did, you know, to get under people's skin, it'll come back to haunt them. Karma is real, and I think when the Rams, they'll remember all that at the end of the season.
It's crazy whenever a team wins, when you won, they're all Super Bowl champions for that.
Yeah.
We're going to Super Bowl. They're going to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You just won one game. You may end up with 4 wins and 13 losses.
Yeah, like the Saints in that Green Bay game.
Speaking of the Saints, our next opponent is the Atlanta Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Now they play the Saints tough. The Saints came out on last second field goal. They always play each other tough. What do you think about our next opponent going into that game with Mariota and all this other stuff?
Well, I mean, Atlanta Falcons, I like Mariota, but, you know, NFL, you play 4 quarters. If you play 3 quarters, Atlanta would be Super Bowl champions. Fourth quarter is really where you have to really turn it on. I mean, when you keep losing games like that, you know, it's tough to have success if you can't finish out a game.
Do you notice everyone in their division is like kind of like our division? They like beat each other up and they're always close games.
Yeah.
It's like Atlanta and Tampa Bay are in there. Saints and who else? Who's the last team? Carolina. They always seem to beat each other like it's like last second field goals or like last year the Saints beat the Buccaneers twice, I believe. One game was like 9-. It was like weird scoring games. Very tight games. Now going into, I'm not going to overlook Atlanta Falcons. I'm not going to overlook.
No, I don't think right now you don't look over any. You know, I don't overlook any team, but I don't expect it to be an easy ride. We already do going into the season. The Rams have the most difficult, you know, schedule, so I expect these games to be tough. I don't care if the Rams win by 1 point. Just keep winning, and you don't want to peak now. I mean, you got 16 games remaining. You just want to continue to show improvement and start getting back into rhythm. And the Rams will do that.
And Peter King from Pro Football Focus picks the Saints to win the division. And I'm like, wait a minute. Tom Brady's still in the division.
Yeah.
Tom Brady plays possum a lot. He's like, okay, 23 years of experience, but Peter King thinks the Saints with Jim, because remember, Jameis Winston got hurt last year. He was having one of his best years career-wise. But, you know, we'll see. And the Saints also have a new coach as well, just like, you know, the Falcons. But now for the Falcons, they have 2 players that are local coming in. It's kind of like a homecoming. Drake London and also Jalen Hawkins.
Yeah.
Side note, I know Jalen Hawkins' family for years. Since I was a teenager. I know his dad really well. Since I was like 17 or 18.
Talented players.
Yeah, 17 or 18, I know Jalen Hawkins before he was born. I know his dad since he was a teenager. So I'm rooting for him, but I'm rooting for the Rams.
Right.
I want him to have a healthy game, no interceptions. Hopefully the Rams win. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not saying I want him to get burnt, but I don't want him. It's sad because it's like a family friend. Like I know him personally. He's like, man, but Drake London returns. Hopefully he's fully healthy because I just, you know, I'm not overlooking the Falcons at all. Don't overlook a team.
Oh no, I would never overlook anyone. But you know, and I think that's what makes having the Rams back in Los Angeles so awesome because when the Rams were gone for those 22 seasons, there was a lot of local talent that never, you know, we were never able to keep them here because we didn't have a pro football team. But now with the Rams being the home team, you're starting to see a lot of these players that are developing, especially like the Watts Rams. Those little guys that the way the Rams
the Watts Rams.
Those guys are going to be amazing when they start getting into high school and then local colleges.
That's how
They'll be able to stay home.
Snoop Dogg started the league, and Snoop Dogg had the people.
There's so much talent in California.
Yeah.
Usually California, Texas, and Florida usually turn out the top, you know, high school talent.
Hope you have a great game, Janet, but I hope the Rams win. Now, what do you think the score is going to be? I mean, I say the Rams win.
I would say it's probably, I would say something like 27-13.
Okay.
It's not going to be, you know, blowout or anything, but the Rams will win.
I say 31-14.
I'll take that too. Yeah.
I'll take that one as long as they win.
Yeah. I just want the Rams to
get back on track.
Yeah,
because
But there's no panic, and there should be no panic in any Ram fans mind. I mean, you're going to go through tough times. That's part of the journey for NFL.
Did you get a chance to watch any other game? Did you watch the Raider Charger game?
Yeah, I did.
Now, from your perspective, they said there were 70% or 80% Raider fans there. Did you see that on TV or?
From what I saw on TV, I would say, just guessing, I would probably say it was probably maybe 70-30.
Raider fans, of course.
But I mean, to me, it doesn't really matter the size of the crowd. It depends on, the only thing that can quiet, fan bases is the scoreboard.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if,
So,
I
no,
don't care if
yeah.
100% Raider fans come in. Because that's how it was at the other stadium.
Yeah.
The Chargers win, they sun at the crowd. They
All
win.
it does is just, more fans disappointed walking out of that stadium.
Now, let me ask you a question. Watching these games, did you root for somebody between that Chargers and, because the Chargers playing so fast, did you root for the Chargers or the Raiders? Did you care? Do you have a vested interest or?
No, I really didn't. I just wanted to see, just a good game. But I also wanted to see, more of the fans, how the fans are going to respond. The Raiders have always had a big fan base, so I expected that, and that's exactly what you got. But they lost, so
Now, did you hear about the Chiefs and Cardinals game? I know we all know who you're going for in that game.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, Chiefs! Like
that's what I said. The NFC West. I mean, it kind of took away some of the sting from the Ram loss. When our other divisional opponents also.
And we have one more game with Seattle. Hopefully Denver beats them. But like
Go
Cardinals,
Broncos,
usually the Cardinals start off 7-0. They're not gonna start off 7-0 this year.
No,
they got in that butt, man.
Well, I think now a lot of that is catching up to them now. I mean, the Rams are defending Super Bowl champions, and I think for a lot of people that, you could never give up on your team.
Yeah.
The Rams are gonna, Jalen Ramsey, all these players, they know exactly what they need to do to turn it around and get back on track. It's only one game.
Yeah, I watched some games like I don't really watch the AFC. Like I watched the AFC. Of course, I watched Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, which is a great game.
That was a good game.
That was a good game. I watched, of course, the night games. Now, New England. Did you hear about New England? They lost. I think they lost to Miami.
To Miami. Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you think New England's done? Because what's his name? The quarterback. Matt? See, I don't even pay attention to these teams no more.
Yeah.
Matt Jones.
Yeah.
We heard he has a back issue.
Yeah,
now, do you think New England's done because they don't really have an offensive coordinator? Matt Patricia is the defensive coordinator running the.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Do you think they're done, or do you think Belichick's gonna
Well, I think that.
I mean, it's still only one game, but still people are saying.
I like Mac Jones. I think he's a good quarterback. That was my favorite quarterback coming out of that draft, that rookie draft. But I think that Belichick, he probably thought that he could get a little bit more out of Mac Jones, where they could still win and be a top team, but. It's still early. It's so hard to predict after one game, but I think the Patriots, they'll probably be at least 500 ball club. So it's hard. They gotta get they gotta.
Well, they can't be 500 now because there's 8 and 9 or 9 because there's 17 games. That's what I was thinking. Wait, they can't go 500 because 17 games. So
but it'll be like a winning record.
Okay, so you think 9 and 8? You think 9 and 8? Oh, they had to play Buffalo twice. So we never.
But Buffalo, Buffalo's good, but Buffalo isn't. They're beatable. Every team in the NFL is beatable.
Yeah, because I remember last year Buffalo lost to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So.
And I think Buffalo, they play Titans coming up too.
Ooh, that's gonna
I think that's
the Titans lost their game, so.
Yeah, I mean the Titans. Look at yesterday. Did you see Henry get popped?
He's usually stiff arm doing the popping.
Yeah, he's usually the one that's.
That's an upset game too. The Giants beating. Nobody picked the Titans to lose that game.
No. But that's the NFL. That's what I'm saying. The first season, I always call it like overreaction Sunday. Yeah, because everyone's going to the Super Bowl and everyone's you're not good enough anymore.
Now the NFC East. What do you think about Philadelphia? Are they the real deal or? They beat Detroit, so you can't really play stuff in there like.
Yeah. Well, how many points did they give up to the Lions? I mean,
that's what I look at. I know they beat them, but that's what I look at.
Yeah, they gave up a lot of points. Jared Goff was really, you can't give up over 28 points and consistently and still be a top defense.
Now we heard about Dak Prescott. He's gonna be out 6 to 8 weeks. See, he may miss the Rams game October 9th. What do you think about that Dallas and Tampa Bay game? I mean, think about it. All these teams, there's games that lost, but Dallas was the only team that scored 3 points. They had the lowest scoring game. Seattle hasn't played yet. Seattle hasn't played yet, so hopefully they score 0 points. But up to this point, they only scored 3 points at home. They have offensive linemen. They don't have no breakaway receivers. Like what's going on?
But initially, I mean, didn't they take the opening drive and march down the field and score, and they were up 3-0, and I thought, all right.
And then the goat took over.
Okay.
The goat's like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, he wasn't even warmed up yet.
He wasn't even warmed
He
up.
did what Tom Brady does. You know,
He picks them apart.
he's so frustrating because, I mean, I'm watching him play last night. And I'm thinking, you know, how many hearts he's broken over those years. That's unbelievable. How many teams he's beaten, and
He's seen it all.
you can never count the
Never.
Bucs out. I actually think, in the end, in the NFC Championship, I think it'll be Rams and Buccaneers again. And then, of course, the Rams beat the Bucs, and then we end up playing Buffalo.
It's funny. We
Super
beat Tom
Bowl
Brady in the
57.
regular season a lot, but when it counts, he beat us twice. But we have a 3-game winning streak against him. Or is it 3? Yeah, because we beat him last year. We beat him in the playoffs last year in the regular season. And the year before that, with no fans, we beat him in Tampa Bay. So we have a 3-game regular season winning streak against him. But that doesn't really, Super Bowl.
But the Rams always find a way. They, there's just certain matchups, and the Rams are able to get to Brady and put pressure on him too.
So with Dak's injury, do you think Dallas is done? And he's going to be gone in 6 to 8 weeks. That's what, about 4 or 5 games, you think?
Yeah.
Do you think Dallas is going to win a game? 0-5, 2-3? What do you think happens? 5-0? I mean, 4-1?
I think they'll probably go maybe like 2 or 3. If he's, depending on how many games but they're not gonna. He won't be a threat.
Yeah, because once you get surgery, you still got to recover. It's
Yeah.
like 6 to 8 weeks. I think he's done for like 10 weeks because he's going to miss the Rams game. The Rams
it
game,
takes a while. I mean,
the Rams game's 30 days from now. Less than 30 days from
gripping
now.
the football and being
Yeah,
able to
man.
have accuracy.
I've had my thumb torn before, a ligament, and I still can't bend it all the way. There's still like a feeling of it, like I can't open up, like certain things because a ligament was
I mean,
ripped,
he
so-
worked so hard, to have a big season. So, but that's the NFL. That's how anything can happen. But I think any team, except for the 49ers, because they were able to keep Garoppolo, but if you lose your starter, you could be in trouble.
Speaking of the 49ers, see, I was going to be nice. Now, of course, we hate our division rival.
Yeah.
That's the most team I don't like using the word hate, but I don't like the Niners, okay? They're our biggest rival.
I always say we respectfully hate.
Okay, I respectfully hate the Niners.
Yeah, and
Now,
they respectfully
did you watch
hate
that
them.
game?
Yes, I did.
It was raining, pouring. They're up 10-0. I'm like, uh-oh, you know what that means? Because when the Niners up 10-0, weren't they up 10-0 in the Super Bowl?
They were.
Weren't they up 10-0 on us?
Yeah.
And then what happens with those games?
Those
They lost,
games-
right?
Yeah.
They're up 10-0 against the Bears.
Yeah.
So that's 3 games when they're a 10-point lead, and they lose.
You got to close out,
You gotta
right?
close out. Because nobody do you think that was your biggest upset of the day? Or what do you think your biggest upset of the day was?
To me, probably, I would say that probably was.
You think so?
I mean, I know the weather, it made it tough, but the Bears just looked like a different team in the second half.
My biggest upset was between the Texans and the Colts. Tie game. Because
that's
the Colts have
unbelievable.
Jonathan Taylor MVP, Matt Ryan. I know he's like their 5th quarterback in 5 years.
Yeah.
Come on, it's like the Colts are just weird to me. They remind me of the East Coast Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
They got all this good talent, but then they can't close out games.
Well, and it's crazy
You can't.
because,
Go ahead.
since they lost Andrew Luck, they're just really, you don't have anybody
Weird,
that,
man. They're weird to me. They're like,
I mean, every year it's a different quarterback, or you bring someone in with high hopes.
there's no
but-
continuity. You know what I'm saying?
but you got good quarterbacks are really, really hard to find. That's why, for me, I feel comfortable in saying that the Rams have a top quarterback in Matthew Stafford, and he's been there, done that. So I feel confident that he'll be ready to go as the season plays on, and when the Rams need him, they'll be ready to go.
So I guarantee the Rams win next week against the Falcons. I'm putting it down right here. Guarantee the Rams beat the Falcons and get the season 1-1.
Yeah, you'll see a lot.
I'm guaranteeing it.
You'll see a lot of targets to Allen Robinson.
He's gonna be hungry. He's gonna be busy.
Maybe Akers will be, carrying the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he'll be able to pick up right where he left off. I mean, Akers he's an amazing player, and I think that, young players, that intensity has to be there every single game.
So tonight's game, Seattle versus Denver. Russell Wilson makes his return to Denver. What do you think the score is going to be, and who's going to win?
I would say Denver's going to win. I would say probably something like maybe like 27-10 Denver Broncos. Yeah, I think Seattle's going to struggle.
I'll say 28-7. I just say 28. I don't
Yeah.
say Seattle scoring real
But
much.
yeah,
But they're gonna be hitting hard and this and that. Now and there's a game this Thursday, which is gonna be a shootout, I believe, between Kansas City and the Chargers.
Yeah.
I say the Chargers. Oh man, I'm going for the Chargers. I think the Chargers. My uncle's gonna be mad when he sees this, but he's a big Chiefs fan. I have the Chargers winning like 41-38.
Yeah, that game's gonna be watched by a lot of people, and the coaches have to make good decisions. To me, I mean, I like going for it and being aggressive on fourth down, but
I'm not gonna
Staley's
lie.
got to back off.
I'm not gonna lie. I root for Brandon Staley. He's not in our division. I root for him because he's an ex-Rams defensive coordinator. So as long as he doesn't play the Rams, I root for them to win. Just not against the Rams January 1st. You know, if they win, okay, that's cool. Just like the Minnesota, I have a heart for like former like coaches of the Rams. I don't want the Minnesota Vikings to win as many games because they're in our division.
Yeah, in our
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In our NFC. But Brandon Staley, win as many games as you want to because we want them to go. I root for them. Now, with that being said, that is episode 1 of the Golden Ram Buzz Podcast with Chris, Damon, and Sal, live from Westminster, California. Like, subscribe, and share. Whose house?
Rams house.
Whose house?
Rams house.